Hello and welcome to Coworld, the second of two programs where we'll be discussing sustainability in livestock farming. After yesterday's theme of energy transition, we'll be taking more of a human factor today when we're considering new entrants coming into farming and their impact on sustainability. Today we're very fortunate to have two members with us, two panel members from different ends of Europe. Pilar Pascual, who comes from Spain, and Ömer Kuluglu, who comes from Turkey. Let's meet our panel members. Pilar Pascual, you come from Spain. You are a young farmer with beef, sheep and crops. And I see you've got pistachios in front of you. You grow pistachios. And you live in the province of Salamanca. You're an influencer on Instagram under the sobriquet Agri Pilar. And you have 43,000 followers. Well done. Telling them about daily farm life, and you're also on Facebook and TikTok. Tell us about your followers. Are they mainly rural or the urban?
Thank you first of all for having me here. It's a pleasure being part of this discussion today and being able to be here at the SOMMET again. My followers are from both sides. They are from the rural areas and they're also from urban areas and cities, because my main objective with my social media is to connect both worlds. So I want to show the urban areas and people living in the cities how farm life is, how life in our villages and in the rural areas is like, but also teach new things that I learn in my day-to-day and in my agriculture and ranching business to people who have similar jobs as me. So I have followers from both sides and very, very happy to be able to be the connection between the city and the village.
On your blog, you frequently comment on the obstacles that farmers, and especially young farmers, face that they have to overcome. Can you tell us about some of those obstacles that you've encountered in your country?
First of all is starting in agriculture or ranching. Nowadays, it's very, very hard for young farmers to be able to achieve lands if they don't inherit them from their parents. So if someone wants to start from agriculture or farming or whatever from zero, it's practically impossible to do so because land prices are so high, machinery prices are very high, and then we also have to go through tons of bureaucratic burdens that our government and the European Union is putting on our shoulders, right? So, of course, we want to do our job right, but when the path is full of obstacles and it's very hard for us to overcome them, most of us just drop out of the train on the way because it's very, very hard for us to commit and be able to face those obstacles on our way.
Okay. You are talking about machinery prices, which is interesting because I'm now going to introduce Ömer Kuluglu from Turkey and more precisely from Istanbul. What's interesting about you, Ömer, is that though you're not from a farming background, you're actually fascinated by agricultural machinery. And your blog, under your own name, includes a tractor meter. What inspired you to become a farming influencer?
SOMMET de L'ELEVAGE. Is this the right pronunciation?
Perfect.
SOMMET de L'ELEVAGE.
Perfect.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a farmer like her, but I like pistachio. I will taste it. I'm a mechanical engineer. I have met with a television channel named Bereket TV. It was a thematical television channel focused only agriculture. So they told me, you are a mechanical engineer, let's make a TV show about agricultural machinery. So I investigated some information from internet, etc. I don't have a farming background, but I've just realized this mechanical part of the agriculture is great. So I decided to make a television program about agricultural machinery and tractors.
Okay.
So my
Fine.
journey begins 12 years ago.
Excellent. You were talking, Pilar was talking about a communication with people in the city, and you come from Istanbul, which is obviously enormous. So fascinating that you from the city are going to the rural areas.
Actually, I live in Ankara. I lived in Istanbul 18 years.
Oh, okay.
I was born in Istanbul,
Okay.
but I travel a lot to make my content. I
Okay.
go to every city where agriculture almost exist.
Right. Well, many thanks, both of you, for that. You've given us a good insight into your origins and what you're doing, and that's good. What we'll do now is we'll now move on to the questions, today's questions, okay? So first of all, I'm going to ask you the same question. I'll start with Pilar. Pilar, what is your vision of sustainability in livestock farming?
Sustainability needs to be one of our main objectives in our farms. Of course, we need to be sustainable with our environment. We need to be careful of our natural resources. We need to do good land management in order for our soil to maintain its structure, to be productive. We also need to ensure animal welfare. We need to take care of our animals for them to produce the best quality products that we can get. But we also, when we're talking about sustainability, we have our main focus on nature and environment, but we also need to have it on economy. So our farms need to be sustainably, both environmentally and economically speaking, because if the numbers don't add up, then we cannot do anything else. Of course, we want to invest our money into machinery and tools that help us be more sustainable with nature and with our animals and with the environment that surrounds us. But we need to be able to afford that. So our farm business needs to be profitable. We need to be able to sell our products at a good price. We need to be paid fairly for our products in order to do more investments to provide that sustainability in our both economy and nature.
Of course, viability is key, and if you're not viable, well, you stop. It's as simple as that. And you won't be able to buy the machinery that Omar's talking about. Same question, Omar. What is your vision of sustainability in livestock farming, or in farming in general?
Yeah, let's talk about livestock farming. It depends on if you focus on milk production, the price is very important. In Turkey, now they're suffering with the prices because they feed the cows and they get the milk. The price is very low, so mainly most of the farmers, growers, they cut their milking cows. Now we are suffering to produce enough milk for our citizens.
I think that's true, is that all the main manufacturers are actually cutting the prices, so it's worldwide, it's not just in Turkey, unfortunately. But so that's something that needs addressing on a global picture rather than just in your country, obviously.
And fast also. It needs a solution fast.
It certainly does need a solution, Pilar, exactly. We'll move on to the second question. We're now going on to talk about the human factor of young farmers coming into and accessing land. Okay, so I'll start with you this time, Omar.
Sure.
How do you see new entrants coming into farming and accessing land?
Actually, I'm aiming to inspire young farmers with my content.
Brilliant.
My main reason to make these kind of videos. So, yeah, there are some young generation to start this kind of agriculture or livestock, but it's really hard to start from zero. Just you said. But with technology, for example, milking robots, technology makes their business very easy. But reaching technology is expensive. So they have to have a big amount of money.
Yeah, basically, it's a vicious circle. If you don't have the money, you can't buy the machinery that makes your life far easier, far more acceptable, and therefore more viable.
Of course.
I'm going to now move on to Pilar, because we spoke about this earlier. New entrants coming into farming and accessing land. How do you see that, Pilar?
I'm a very young farmer, and I was able to access this world because I inherited it from my parents. Also, my partner, who is the cattle rancher, he was able to do so because his parents were cattle ranchers. If we wouldn't have had that, we wouldn't be able to be where we are today. So if someone wants to start farming from zero, as we're talking, it's practically impossible because land prices are so high. And then again, I go back to the government and bureaucratic burdens because sure, there are economic helps for young farmers to access and come into the agriculture sector, but how long do those helps take to reach us, right? So how much time does it take?
Subsidies and grants,
Yeah,
exactly, yeah.
exactly. How much time does it go by until we receive that grant into our bank account?
Okay.
And also, when do we receive that grant? Because, for example, in my home, what we have experienced is that we have received a grant from the government. The government say, okay, we're gonna grant you this money. We're gonna give you half right now when you're starting to build your farm, and half in around 5 years approximately.
Okay.
5 years later, I've spent all my money. I don't have any more costs, and I received the other half of that grant. And then the government comes and says, so now because you have such a big income, you need to pay taxes, you need to, and I lose a lot of money there that I have to pay again. So really they're granting me money that I have to pay back, and it doesn't really work for us.
Yeah, it seems very unfair, very unfair. Okay, yeah. There's a lot of issues there that you brought up, and I think, it's important. And just something that I came across yesterday when I was talking to the French Ministry of Agriculture, and that France is between 5,000 and 6,000 young farmers setting up every year, and they can expect a grant, that's a one-off grant, of anything between 25,000 and 50,000 euros based on their project, what they're looking to do. The more technical it is, they can expect more money. The easier it is, the less difficult to set up. Perhaps as you were talking about people setting up, following on from a previous generation, family generation, maybe it's going to be a lot easier. But people who are setting up from outside, maybe they need more money to at least have some working capital for the first few years. Okay, we'll now move on to the third question, and I'll ask this to Pilar. What more could be done at a national and local level to encourage new entrants to farming? And that could be either new young farmers taking on from their parents or grandparents, or people from completely outside farming who actually got nothing to do with farming in their family at all.
First of all, make things easier. That's my number one thing I would ask for. When we have to meet the same requirements as big industries, it's very hard for small and medium producers to achieve those requirements and to earn economically the same income as those big industries. So we have to think that we cannot set the same requirements for industrial companies as for small and artisan producers, because we are working at a different level. We produce much less. For example, my pistachios, I have a 10-hectare pistachio farm, and I can produce up to 20,000 kilos of pistachios, but that's it. I cannot produce anymore. Of course, I can buy pistachios from somewhere else, but then again, I need to make another investment. I can produce as many as I can, and I need to be able to sell this and not have the same requirements to sell this as a farmer, a big farmer or big industry that has, for example, 1,000 hectares of pistachios and has a bigger income and can afford to face those requirements.
So really, it's glass ceilings that are imposed on you that you can't actually break through.
I think we need to have a different judgment when it comes to small producers and big industries, because then again, also our products are not the same. My product is an artisan product, comes from a small farmer. I sell it through direct sale through my webpage. I don't sell it through supermarkets and distribution. I don't aim to sell it that way also. I want to keep my direct sale. I want people to come to my farm, visit me, learn about my project from first hand, and value this as the value that it has, that comes straight from the farm to the fork, as you would say.
Understood. Yeah. Omer, same question. You're looking to inspiring young farmers to set up. So you must have a good idea as to what could be done more to help young farmers at both national and local level. And when I talk about young farmers, I'm talking about new entrants. It doesn't matter, they don't have to be 25 or 22 or whatever. They could be older, they could be 40 people with a change of direction. It doesn't matter. They're new entrants to farming.
Yeah, they need to feel themselves more valuable. And I'm trying to make them feel, wow, farming is a cool job, because they are suffering in the rural. In the city center, a lot of people living, socializing, etc. But in the rural, they're alone. They feel alone. They're not feeling valuable. The main problem in Turkey especially, but maybe worldwide, is that. So I'm trying, from my side, I'm trying to inspire with the technology. I show the most technological tractors, agricultural equipments, and while I'm telling information to them, I feel very good, and I'm trying to give my energy to them and make them feel more valuable.
Valuable. Okay, understood. I'll now throw in a fast question about renewable energies, because we spoke about that yesterday. Do you feel that farmers are sufficiently informed of the available renewable energies that they could use and employ on their farm, and obviously diversify?
Actually, there are more than 50 farms. They use biogas technology. They produce their energy from their farm.
Right.
And also some other renewable energy sources like sun, like wind. Yes, some of the farmers use that kind of renewable energy. There are not too much, too small percentage.
Okay. And what about you, Pilar?
I think there's a big misconception about renewable energy, at least in Spain. It's like very bad seen. So where the common comment from farmers in Spain is, oh, they're stealing our lands to put solar panels or whatever. Yeah. I think the first thing to do when it comes to renewable energies is inform the farmers. They need to know that those renewable energies can be compatible with their farm jobs. They're not taking away their lands. They're just adding a higher value to them because they're producing crops, they're producing, and they're working with animals, and they're getting byproducts from those animals, but they're also producing energy. And people in the cities are going to value them more because energy comes from the villages, which is the second step. We need to show people in the urban areas that they need to value people in the villages. And, okay, renewable energy is coming from their job and their lands, and that will add a higher value to the farmer job at the end of the day.
Okay. I quite agree with you as far as solar panels are concerned. What is the point of putting solar panels in very fertile land? I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. You know, fertile land should actually be used for production, yeah, whether it's arable or grazing or whatever. If you're putting solar panels on very rough land that is inaccessible, exactly, or can't be plowed, can't be, yeah, cultivated, and impossible for livestock to access, I quite agree. That's fine, fair enough. Mm-hmm. But to take out perfectly good land out of production to put solar panels on, I think is madness. I mean, complete madness. Yeah. Fine on barn roofs. That's perfectly okay because you can't do anything else with a, yeah, barn roof. So yeah, put solar panels on a barn roof. But on land that's perfectly fertile, no, I'm not in for that.
Of course, I think that's the responsibility of the renewable energy companies as well. They need to study if that land is fertile, if it has a good use, if we're going to produce more with energy production or with crop production, and value which is going to be best. But if that's going to give the farmer an addition value to their life, and it's going to help them make their farm more profitable, and they're going to be able to stay in the village and populate the rural areas, then I think it's a good solution for them. But then again, as you say, they need to study very well where to put them and not interfere with good crop or animal production.
Okay, well, we've come to really the end of today's program, unfortunately. We've raised a lot of important points, which I'm not going to go into now because obviously we've covered them. But I just want to leave one final thought for people, and that's basically everybody out there. No farmers, no food, no future. Thank you, and goodbye.